Your day is getting better and better and better. You're grinning like a Cheshire cat, and people are looking at you thinking, oh my goodness, he's delusional. But you know you're not. You finally figured it out. You know the secret to happiness. And from this point forth, happiness will be defining of your life. Hello, I'm Chris T., your Totally Hap guide. And today's discussion is happiness. How does it work? Where does it come from? How do we sustain joy throughout all of life? And how do we grow that joy exponentially? It's a very powerful conversation. And it starts with an ancient Norse understanding. You see, in this society, happiness didn't exist 1,000 years ago. Oh, sure, you might be spiritually enlightened or merry, but no one would ever describe themselves as happy because the word didn't exist yet. It came with the Norse people who arrived about 1,000 years ago. Now, the root word of happy is hap. To understand what hap means, we need to recognize that the Norse people had a very different view of reality than we hold today. So they didn't see things in terms of good and bad and right and wrong and evil and divine and this polar view. They saw it in terms of good, better, best, and beyond. Everything that existed had an element of goodness to it. Sometimes a little, sometimes a lot, and we always had the ability to make it more. Hap refers to what is occurring, and it very specifically looks at how goodness is rising within the world. If you were in ancient Norse and you said, as they did in the 1970s, "What's happening, man?" what you're saying is, where is goodness being realized in the world? That is how joy works. That is where happiness comes from. As goodness is realized throughout the world and we make steady progress, that state of flux is experienced in our spirit or feelings in accordance with the improvements. Happiness is the direct experience therein. So, if we look at our world as Norse people did, then every time we see something that we wish was a little different, we'd ask ourselves, what's missing? How do we make that more? And we'd find answers. So we would implement, of course, and that world would get better. We make our lives better and the lives of all others because we understand that we have the power to foster the good and that the world becomes a better place when we do. Now, a lot of us are doing this in life, but we're doing something else too. We're fighting for what we believe in. We've been taught to do that too. Isn't it interesting that every time you fight for what you believe in, there's an obligation of what you're fighting with to fight back. You bring fighting into this world and manifest fighting within your life, and then wonder, why isn't it all harmonious? Oh, just a second. Ah! Harmonious. Yes, I'm looking for peace. Oh, hey, why'd you do that? You see what's going on? You see, if we live as the ancient Norse taught us to live, then we would simply foster the good. Always look for how we can make more of that and leave it at that. This notion that we should fight the bad would go away, and we'd be left with goodness that rises and rises and rises, because everybody would be fostering the good. Can you think of the degree of happiness you would experience if that was your life? Well, you can easily start on it. Start by patterning your behavior with the ancient Norse wisdom that says, find the good, make it more, keep doing that. That's all you got to do. Then, when you've practiced that for 40 days, you will have built a habit and developed an understanding that yes, this works. And after 40 days of doing that, if you're fostering good for yourself and all others, you'll be starting to see that life is a lot better. You'll be looking for the next step. And the next step comes from those you're in direct concert with. Help them to recognize that they don't need to fight for their beliefs. They need to foster the good. And there's a very big difference. As they start to do this, their efforts will produce more gains in your life, and the result will be even greater happiness. And if you want more gains yet, have them teach those they love to again foster the good and change their approach from looking at the unwholesomeness or what doesn't exist of the goodness to looking at the wholesomeness or what does exist of the goodness and making it more. You will go from hap to happier to happiest and beyond because you understand a brilliant truth about our world. You can always foster the good, and it is the source of all joy realized in life. Now there's much more wisdom to share, and you'll find it on totallyhap.com. I look forward to seeing you there.